The following interview was recorded with Trinidadian filmmaker and puppeteer Roger Alexis on February 7th, 2012, a few weeks after his January 25th release of his hugely successful I'm Santana feature film, which has attained a massive following worldwide throughout the Caribbean diaspora.
They used to call him for Alexo, and Santana loosely based on him as well.
Really? That was one of my next questions. Really?
Yeah.
Your father was a bad man, man.
He had a temper. He's not a bad man. He had a temper.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. I remember one time he got so mad at my stepmom called me and was telling me, your father acted me fool. So I left home, went down San Fernando, because I don't live south anymore. I went to San Fernando to see what's going on. And I saw, one of my sisters is a cop, right?
Okay.
He just takes all this frustration and other things, like he might throw things outside, he might break some bulbs, he might do stuff like that now. So he's similar to Santana with regards to temper.
I see. So
real cool guy.
When you sat down and you said, okay, I want characters, where did you begin?
Alright, well, Santana was easy, as I told you, loosely based on my father. Right? And when I look at Santana, he's like the typical Trini man, walk on the yard, you have a rat, you have a bad temper, you love the ladies, things like that. So that was easy. Santana was easy to come up with.
Right.
Pastor Stewart came out of me seeing a guy and a woman in a cuss out in Port of Spain, in KFC. Right? And they were cussing each other out back and forth, and the woman tried to embarrass the guy by saying how, you suck my this and you suck my that and you do me this and you do me that. And he replied, well, I do it this too. Why didn't you say I do it that too, And called, that kind of Bacchanal that Trinidad love was based on that. So I was thinking, rather than just have two people arguing in the road, how it would be even more awesome if this guy was a priest.
That's true.
He's not supposed to act like that. So just the whole novelty of a priest cussing at somebody, that was awesome for me. So I went for the novelty. And then after that, he took off. But the first time I used Pastor Stewart was he was having like a threesome with Janice or something like that.
Right.
But people actually grabbed onto the character, and after the cuss out, that was it. Pastor Stewart was a star. And I just kept making characters people could relate to.
Caribbean people love Bacchanal, right? You know that. Do you think that has a lot to do with the success of the show, the series?
Yes. And you know what? When I go to school, I heard some people saying that, do we want to be seen as this culture of people who really like confusion and Bacchanal and bad things like that,
Right.
And they're saying that's the only reason why my thing popular is because of the confusion and the Bacchanal. I don't find nothing wrong with that, because in India, what I learned is there are certain genre of films that do well, right? Some of these films have to have a musical in it. Most of the Indian films have to have a musical, or devotional, or whatever. So these filmmakers in India understand their public, understand their market, and they will churn out the same sort of stuff every year. Hollywood is almost the same thing. So if in the 1960s or 50s movies come out and there's always singing and dancing in it, it's because that's what the public wants.
Right.
Or that's what the public used to, or what have you. So I understand my public locally. Caribbean people, they love escapist films. They love to see, people who in more headache than they are. And through the novelty of puppets, even better. I don't know, I went for it. So if people want to knock the whole Bacchanal thing, that's their problem. I understand my public. And right now, my film has already made history of being the highest grossing box office film ever locally.
You
right?
didn't, really?
And yeah, I don't know, I can't tell you the exact figure yet, but there hasn't been a film in Trinidad so far, local film I'm talking about, that has sold-out shows, consecutive sold-out shows, and lines to see it and so on. It's a frenzy. And most of it happened by word of mouth as well. We did advertise, but all the grassroots people came out.
As well as you already set the groundwork by having those shorts online, right?
Yeah.
So people know Santana and Pastor Stewart.
Right.
They know it all over the world. Right.
And who didn't know? Because there are quite a lot of people who doesn't follow the show. But I remember bringing Santana to take pictures with a whole group of women, all of them in the 60s, had to be in the 60s. And the woman came to me and said, "Sir, can I have a picture of Santana?" I said, "Sure." And I said, "You're going to see the show?" She said, "We went, but the tickets all were sold out." We're talking about 5 women, eh?
Right.
The tickets were sold out, and we bought tickets for the following day. I telling you, I was so scared the first day they opened the show because, as a filmmaker, you're glad, you hope that people come out and look at your movie. At the same time, I looked at the films I was going up against. We're talking about Underworld in 3D, Sherlock Holmes, Tintin, which Steven Spielberg did, Hugo, quite a lot of great films that my movie was going up against. So I was scared. And then when I see the lines, I think, all these people can't be going for my film. But so said, so done, every single person wanted to see Santana. There were the 2 or 3 or 4 people that was going to see something else. But people line up to see my film. That is, it's overwhelming. Yeah, I wish I could shake everybody hand and thank them, because when we went to IMAX and I looked at how full that theater was, I'm like, wow, I carry Santana because we took all the puppets to the premieres.
Right.
And, whoever I could see, I was just saying, thanks for coming out, thanks for supporting local, thanks for coming out, And after the Super Ball is the next 45 minutes to an hour just taking pictures with the characters. It was a frenzy outside. It was supposed to be a television script. That's what I wrote, a television script. It wasn't meant for the cinema. The more above the line crew, they were like, let's go for movies. I was a bit skeptical, but I said, you know what? If they believe in it that much, I should believe in it even more. So I went with it.
How much of a role do your actors have in creating the dialogue? Like, do they write anything? Do they ad-lib?
Actually, a little of both. I write the scripts, right?
Okay.
And what I always tell them during the recording session, they would read it over and over. And then when they go to record, I give them some creative freedom to ad-lib in certain areas. And so the script is more or less the blueprint, right? This is the direction. This is where I want. This is where I like to go. But if you could ad-lib for this would be awesome, right? Because some of these guys are so talented. It's the wrong thing to sort of like just box them in that script.
Right.
Right? So it's a bit of both. Most of the time, I write the script and they read it. But then there are times when I let them do what, I let them follow my direction, but at the same time, ad-lib and show off their thing.
You know what? I have some Trini friends up here, and we've been trying to figure out for a long time, what does smoke in your mother panty, what does that mean?
That is obvious. I don't have a clue what that means. She thought that was funny, because I asked her, when they were doing the customer thing, she said, "I know you don't be smoking your mother panty." I'm like, "What?" I said, "Obvious. What does smoking your mother panty mean?" She said it means something, like you probably don't sleep with your mother or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But I let her say it, smoking your mother panty. I let her say it, but it's crap. It's the 2 people talking crap. But she kind of young too, so these young ones will have little slangs among themselves, but it really means you're probably having sex with your mother or something like that.
Were you ever concerned that you had to make the slang and local Trinidadian references accessible to people overseas? And do you worry about that now?
No. To tell you the truth, it's not a bad thing, but I would say I don't really think about the people overseas because it's like they already, I consider them Trinidadian as well.
Right.
So the same thing that a local here, someone who lives here, would react to, I believe you all out there would react the same way as well. So it's not that, I don't tailor make it, I don't make it tailored for the set of people and that set of people. I just go with the flow and people just catch on.
What about pride from Caribbean people or Trinidadian people? Do you get a feeling of pride from them or anything like that?
Yeah, asking some really good questions. Yes. I quite a lot of pride. Some people, you hear it on YouTube all the time. Some people call you and some people see you on the street and tell you. They feel proud that this thing is doing so well. There's a guy from, I think, the Netherlands or something like that. He's a trainee out there. Holland or some other country. He sent me a message saying, out here, it's really hard to, get local, anything cultural from back home now.
That's true.
And it's not a large community out there. So just looking at this on YouTube, hearing the voices, hearing the syntax, things like that just, gives them a warm feeling at home.
That's right. That's what
and I hear from people almost all the time. They're glad that I use the dialect. They're glad that, they just love the show.
Have you heard anything from Canadians?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Canadians love it as well. It hurts me that I can't really put it in Canada the way I would like to down here. Because I know, one, financially it'll do well, but two, you don't think about the money. I think, it'll be nice. They're part of the community as well.
Right.
And, I feel a little hurt that I can't really bring it to them the way I would like to. But still, in future, probably I would not have a problem.
Doing the voice, right? Because we grew up in the Caribbean, and the Caribbean is, especially during Carnival, part of it, when you're playing masks, running masks and so on, Juve, all that kind of stuff. A big part of it is wearing masks, right?
Yeah.
And hiding behind, hiding your true self behind a mask, right? I wonder if part of that with your actors is maybe what makes them feel more free, more uninhibited, right? As opposed to showing their face. If they were showing their face in a regular show, like live show, I wonder if they would be less free. Now that they can hide behind a puppet, I wonder if it's more real and more honest.
That's a very good observation. One of the characters, Pastor Stewart, Jesse Gonzalez, he actually hosts a nighttime TV show on Thursday nights, right? Called the Carnival Vibe, where he's on national TV and hosting and interviewing stars and so on. The thing is, he doesn't feel or look as comfortable as he would be over at my place recording and doing his character.
Right.
I see it, and you're right. You had to put on the mask and so on, but I understand why he would feel a little uncomfortable on national TV, and, you had to watch what you say. But when he's Pastor Stewart, he's a totally different character.
Caribbean folks have a history of having one face in the public and one face in the night, after dark, right?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a kind of do you think people respond to that kind of hypocrisy or, double standards? Pastor Stewart acting very Pastor Stewart in the daytime acting very sort of holy and meeting girls behind the pulpit.
Yes. Yes, that I answer because this show is really based. The reason why I don't really run out of material is because once you're living in the Caribbean, living in the world, you'll always have material. And the cool part is I base most of it on life. So, yes, there are quite a lot of pastors around. And there was this funny thing there recently, about last month, or last year, there was a pastor who had sex with a junior pastor's wife in the church. And this guy is a third-time offender. He's done it 3 times before, and they had enough of it, and he blew it this time again. Had sex with the guy's wife. And the Pastor Stewart was over 1 million plus in views, and the views just went up higher again. Most of the people that like Pastor Stewart has been, from what I have noticed, like when I went Barbados, grown women, they love the character, they find him so suave and he's so different, so that, but it's like a guilty pleasure.
Right.
You wouldn't admit you like it, you'll go and sit down and watch it and laugh, and then go out to the world and be program proper. So, I feel good to know that as part of that.
How would you say how do you keep motivated? Like, how do you keep motivated to keep doing what you're doing?
Have motivated people around me. I can't have negativity around me. The cool part is I understand myself, right?
Okay.
I understand myself throughout the years, what does drive me. And once I'm happy, once I can smile, it's easy to write the scripts, it's easy to come up with the concept, it's easy to do anything. I have to be in the right frame of mind. This is why, sometimes you have a little ill friend, if he pisses me off, sometimes that could shut me down. Or if negative people around me, this one, whatever the problem is, I can't have negativity around me. So most of the people around me, positive people who don't say no,
right.
no in the sense that, yes, we could do this, yes, we could try this. I don't mind, let's try it, things like that.